What's up, guys? So this is kind of a crazy video. It's got to be the biggest trade up anyone's ever done. At the time I thought of doing this as a video, I was right at about 30,000 items, as you'll see here in the screenshot. I had already begun trading up a bunch before I thought, hey, I should record this. It took forever. I'm going to show you guys a piece of it, but just so that it goes a little bit quicker, we're going to kind of magically split this up into 4 sections and kind of run it all at once. So we'll go ahead and split that up now like this. Okay, sorry, that was cheesy. But anyway, we'll run this, and I'm going to run it at 4 times speed, and I'll talk about some of the things that I figured out while all this is running. If you want to watch it in regular speed, then you could slow it down to quarter speed. Not that it'll be all that fun. But when I first started doing this, I had somewhere between, I'm guessing 30 to 50,000 items based on what I ended up with as far as rares and non-crate very rares, which I'll show you guys at the end. But it was taking me forever. It took me almost 2 hours just to do this bit that I'm going to show you here. And this was about 10% of it. So 10% of it was about 3,000 items by the time I thought of actually doing this for a video. And it took me manually doing this about 2 hours. So I've split it into 4 pieces. I've got it running at 4 times. So it'll go a lot quicker. I think this video is going to end up around 10 minutes. And I learned a lot of crazy things in the process of doing this. I did a lot of this during a double painted weekend. And I'll talk about some of the stats at the very end when we get to those slides, because Psyonix says that 25% of items during trade ups are supposed to be painted. Maybe that doesn't include uncommons or items you get from in-game drops. Maybe that was just crate items, but they've never said differently. But the ratios were way off. It was kind of crazy. But anyway, I sat there and manually did this for hours, and then I realized, oh my God, I'm an idiot. All I'm doing is clicking. I mean, I'm literally going and clicking, show filters, uncommons, clicking 5 of them, trade up. Yes, I want to trade up. And I was doing it over and over and over again. And so finally I thought, hey, I could probably download like a clicker, one of these ones that you can, and I'm not real tech savvy here, but one of these ones where you could, choose the area on the screen that you wanted to click and kind of map the whole thing out. And so that's what I did. I downloaded one by Murgee, M-U-R-G-E-E, this little auto clicker. It cost me like a couple of bucks. And oh my gosh, it was amazing. I set it all up and I ran this thing. And I think in total it took like somewhere between 20 and 24 hours of just constant running to trade up all these items. And what I initially did is I had moved all of the items off of the account, except just all of the uncommon items, because when I first thought I'd go through it, it would be faster when I'm doing it manually to be able to sit there and say, I wouldn't have to sit there and go show, filter and pick the uncommons. I could just begin choosing items and trade up and choosing items and trade up. I wouldn't have to actually go find the uncommons. The problem with that was, as you began trading them up, rares started appearing. And now when you wanted to go grab the items, rares were in the way and you had to sort and find them again. And so I had to start doing the filtering. But if you got a lot of trade ups to do, use an auto clicker. I mean, it's amazing. But as you see, this thing is running and it's pretty crazy. It's just spitting out a ton of rares. And eventually I traded those up into very rares. And I'll show you guys that here in just a bit. So as we wind down here at the end of all of this mad trade ups, I'm going to go through and show you guys some of the crazy poor amounts of painteds I got. And again, remember, I was doing a lot of this during double painted weekend. And so this is, again, just a sample of the whole. But I would get like, 15 unpainted and 1 painted, or maybe 2 and 20. I would say I was getting like 5% painted as opposed to, what I was thinking was going to be 25%. And I understood that not every rare that you get comes in a painted variation. So I'm not going to get a true 25% of all my trade ups, because if it trades up into an item that can't be painted, that won't count. But as I go through here and show you, just looking at the ones that could be painted, I was getting, 1 out of 15 painted of that item. So I don't know what was going on with that. It was really off. But maybe maybe the 25% doesn't apply to these. But this has got to be the largest trade up that anyone's ever done. My inventory's crazy. At some point, I'll go through it all and tell you guys the story of my massive inventory. But I did save quite a few of these as rares. I'm going to play some games with my girlfriend and then with some friends and play with myself. Yeah, that sounded terrible. Play some games just with myself. That still doesn't sound better. Okay. Anyway, moving on. And then I saved a lot of these non-crate very rares, because obviously you can go for white octane, and then beyond that you can go for like black Diechis. And I wanted to run some stats and see what are the percentages. I think it's like 1 in 160 or 170 to get white octane. So I've got a couple of thousand of them. So as you'll see there at the end, I think I end up with enough rares that I could get about another 250 non-crate very rares, and I'm already at around 2,200. So I think I should end up around 22 to 2,500 non-crate very rares. It takes 5 rares to make a non-crate very rare. So if you had 2,000, then it takes you 10,000 rares to get to 2,000 non-crate very rares, and it takes you 50,000 uncommons to get to 10,000 rares. So that's why I say I know I had more than 30,000. I don't remember the true number. I did have some non-crate very rares already, and I had to store a lot of this on multiple different accounts. Once you get too many items on an account, at least for me, this is happening where it begins crashing, and it creates a real problem. So anyway, that's the crazy, huge, massive trade up. I can't imagine anyone's ever traded up this many items at once. It's got to be a record. And I've got a few other things that have got to be records that I'll record later. Like I said, I'll go through my massive inventory and talk about kind of my story of how I've come into all this. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Thanks.